In the bustling streets of Delhi, India, a shocking tragedy occurred in the quiet neighborhood of Sarai, leaving the entire community in disbelief. The Tanwar family, known for their warmth and kindness, became the victims of a horrifying crime that would haunt the city for years to come. On December 4, 2024, it all started with a seemingly normal day that would soon spiral into unimaginable violence. Arjun Tanwar, a 20-year-old student from Delhi University, was the son of the Tanwar family. The morning in question started like any other. Arjun had gone for his regular morning jog, a routine he followed every day. But when he returned home, he was greeted by a scene that would forever change his life and the lives of his family members. As he entered the house, he was struck by the brutal sight of his parents and younger sister lying lifeless, victims of a senseless act of violence. In shock and panic, Arjun rushed outside and began banging on his neighbors' doors, crying out for help. His voice, trembling with fear, echoed through the quiet neighborhood. He screamed that something terrible had happened to his family and urgently needed assistance. Neighbors rushed to his aid, only to be confronted with the grisly crime scene inside the Tanwar home. The police were immediately alerted. When officers arrived, they were told by Arjun that his family had been killed during a robbery. Arjun claimed that he was out for his morning jog at the time and had returned to find the house in disarray with his parents and sister lying dead. He explained that he had survived because the robbers spared him, thinking he wasn't home at the time. At first, this story seemed plausible, a robbery gone wrong. It wasn't an uncommon scenario in a city like Delhi, but as the investigation progressed, things didn't add up. The police began their routine investigation, but the first signs that something was wrong quickly became evident. There were no signs of forced entry into the house. The front door was unlocked, but nothing seemed to have been stolen. In fact, all the valuables in the house, including expensive electronics and jewelry, were untouched. If it had been a robbery, why would the perpetrators have left behind all these valuable items? The theory of a random robbery started to lose its credibility, and suspicions began to arise about Arjun's story. Arjun's behavior too seemed strange. His grief appeared staged, almost rehearsed. He was crying, yes, but there was something about the way he was reacting that felt off. Neighbors who had known the Tanwar family for years said that Arjun didn't seem as devastated as one would expect from someone who had just lost their entire family. The police decided to dig deeper into his actions and words. They began to focus their attention on Arjun, questioning him more thoroughly about the events that had unfolded. As the hours passed and the investigation intensified, Arjun's story began to unravel. Small inconsistencies appeared, and details of his account started to shift. He had claimed that he returned to find the house in chaos, but forensic evidence suggested otherwise. There were no signs of a struggle, no broken windows or doors. The crime scene seemed oddly controlled, as if the murders had been planned. The police decided to put more pressure on Arjun, and this is when his facade started to crack. Eventually, Arjun's story crumbled under the weight of the evidence and persistent questioning. He confessed, but the truth was even more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Arjun admitted that he had killed his parents and sister. The confession left everyone stunned, especially those who had known him as a quiet, studious young man with no history of violence. But why would a son kill his own family? The answer, as Arjun revealed, was rooted in deep resentment and jealousy. Arjun had always felt overshadowed by his younger sister. According to him, his parents had always favored her, giving her more attention and love. He was convinced that they would one day transfer the family property to her name, leaving him with nothing. This fear of losing his inheritance, combined with his feelings of being unloved, pushed him over the edge. He began to plot the murders weeks in advance, carefully planning each step. On the morning of the crime, Arjun left the house for his usual jog, carrying an army knife with him. A weapon he had carefully chosen because it was legal to carry and wouldn't raise suspicion if he was stopped. He returned home, and in a cold, calculated manner, he first attacked his sister. She was the one he hated most, and he wanted to silence her first. After killing his sister, he moved on to his father, attacking him with the same brutal force. Finally, he killed his mother, ensuring that no one was left alive to tell the truth. After committing the murders, Arjun staged the crime scene to make it look like a robbery gone wrong. He disturbed some of the items in the house, hoping to make it appear that the robbers had ransacked the place. He even wiped his fingerprints from key surfaces to avoid leaving any evidence behind. Then he returned to the neighborhood and knocked on doors, screaming for help, trying to play the role of a grieving son. But the police were not fooled for long. As the investigation continued, the police found that Arjun had been careful in his execution of the murders, but they also uncovered the underlying psychological issues that had driven him to such a horrifying act. Arjun's confession revealed a young man who had become consumed by jealousy and fear of losing his place in the family. His desire for the family's wealth and his perceived lack of love from his parents ultimately led him to commit an unspeakable crime. Now in police custody, Arjun faces a future filled with uncertainty. The investigation is still ongoing, with authorities seeking to recover the weapon used in the crime and examine whether any external influences, such as movies or shows, played a role in shaping his actions. But what is clear is that the Tanwar household, once a place of love and laughter, has been transformed into a grim reminder of how unchecked jealousy and resentment can destroy lives. This case serves as a chilling reminder of how even the most ordinary-seeming individuals can harbor dark thoughts and motivations. It's hard to imagine how a son could betray the very people who gave him life, but this case proves that sometimes the darkest secrets lie behind closed doors. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you believe there were warning signs that could have prevented this tragedy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story unsettling and gripping, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real crime stories and investigations. Click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and remember, truth is often stranger than fiction.